Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WGLNA Season 2 Gold League. Look, Shake, you were right. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. And as always, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
In case you're wondering what he's talking about, Shake on the Reddit threads likes to predict what ties we're going to wear.
Yeah.
This time we saw it. We let you have it.
Got us.
We're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, the viewing of battles is best done on battleviewer.com.
What a great place.
Where you have the same Twitch chat that you're already using, plus easy access to our YouTube, Twitter, match listings, match standings, and fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
Go over there right now. Just battleviewer.com. All right, guys, as we're ending out our 6th week, we're talking about lighting them up. We are going to be focusing on scouting now. We talked about it Tuesday. Now we're talking about it today. You light them up so your teammates can then essentially light them up as well. This is when a tank goes and finds other enemy tanks to light up for your team so that they can, better information, so you guys can make better plays. And it's just a great, all-around, awesome tactic to use. We're talking about aggressive scouts, passive scouts, sometimes suicide scouts. Didn't get really into that on Tuesday. Maybe we can find some examples of that tonight. But David, again, you were talking about this is just one of your favorite roles in all this game.
Absolutely. You have so much power. Like we said last time, you light them up so your team can light them up.
Yeah.
But if they can't, if everything's stagnating for some reason, you get to light them up. Or at the end of the game, you get to come in, you get to go hero mode. Nobody expects you to do anything other than stay alive and spot stuff and add in some damage here and there.
So anything else is bonus.
Everything else is just bonus. It's amazing.
Sounds like an awesome thing to do. Let's take a look at now what was going on or what happened on Tuesday's matches. Up first, we had Color Wanted beating Rival 5-3, followed by Noble beating High Voltage 5-1. Next, 07 beating Eclipse 5-4, and finally the close of the night, Simp beating Aquatic M60s 5-4 as well. Let's go through these kind of one at a time. Up first, Rival versus Caller Wanted. We started out on Eclipse. Both were going kind of back and forth, tying it up, ended up that one 2-2. Then on to Mines, where some fantastic plays from both teams came through. And Caller Wanted picked up their first defensive victory because to that point, everyone was winning on attack, and that really threw off the whole thing. Caller Wanted picked up their final 2, ending at 5-3. Some of the things you remembered from that first match.
Caller Wanted bringing 263 on Cliff a couple times. But other than that, the Cliff games kind of turned into more of a technical, slower play, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. But once it got into Mines, Caller Wanted was simply better. Rival was struggling to get Rival Simple Tankers. We'll figure out exactly what it's called soon. Technically, it's both.
That's right.
They let a couple different things happen. Permablue and the Scout and the 1-2 line let Caller Wanted pretty much just win Mines over Rival, and that shouldn't really happen. And then there at the end, obviously, we saw it. It's a rough situation to be in at 9-7, but
up and top.
Great games coming out of Caller Wanted.
Absolutely. Up next, the rematch of last season's finals, Noble versus High Voltage. We started out onto Steps, where Noble just did a fantastic job ending that one 3-1. It seemed like High Voltage had a lot of plans, a lot of strategies they wanted to try, none of them really fleshing out that well. And then finally going on to Muravanka, where Noble just picked up their final 2, ending that set 5-1. Some of the things you remember from that second match.
Our High Voltage went on a very hard tilt very quickly is what I remember. Noble took advantage of that a couple different times. High Voltage always trying to do a very deliberate strategy that can work if you do it right. But oftentimes it kind of broadcasts what you're going to do, and the enemy just has to look at it. Say Muravanka with so many tank destroyers and putting E100 on cap. Noble knows. Well, the E100 is what they're trying to make us stop. And then we just stay away from the tank destroyers. So all they have to do is throw a wrench in that, and they can easily take that home to victory. So perhaps not indicative of how well High Voltage can do. Well, it's definitely not indicative of how well they can do overall, but Noble's not faltering anymore. They're finally back to where they were before, so looking at maybe an interesting finals, interesting playoffs, I should say.
Yeah. Before we get there, we got to go to the playoffs.
With the actual ranks yet.
Absolutely. Up next, we had Eclipse versus 07. 07 beating them 5-4 in a tiebreaker. Started out on Himmelsdorf, both tying it up 2-2. Went on to Proc, again, tying it up 4-4. And then we go into Ghost Town, where Eclipse got to choose attack or defense, and they chose to attack. And it seemed like they had a very solid strategy, kind of pulling 07 back and forth. Didn't quite work out. 07 found that victory. Some of the things you remember from that third match.
You pretty much summarize it as kind of a struggle on Himmelsdorf overall. Not Himmelsdorf. It was Himmelsdorf. But then when it got into that whole Ghost Town match, like you said, picking offense was a little bit questionable, but it started to work out quite well for Eclipse. They had the opportunity to win and then just fumbled it.
All right, and up next, finally, we had Simp versus Aquatic M60s, where it was a 5-4. Now, this is a fun one as well, because Aquatic M60s, the team that is really kind of taking it to those top-tier teams without fear. Started out on a cliff, 2 DQs, so that kind of tied it up 2-2. It was very interesting there. Then on to Himmelsdorf, Simp being very aggressive, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so much so. ended out in Ghost Town, where Simp won, having all 7 members alive. Some of the things you remember from that 4th and final match.
Well, Simp definitely controlled Ghost Town, which I expect Simp to do most of the time. They're probably the team that I like the most on Ghost Town out of everybody else. But Cliff was actually a little bit more even than I expected. Aquatic doing a little bit of different things, trying to take Simp out of that middle fight comfort zone. The 2DQs make it hard to read that map
yeah, that was
at
a
all.
very interesting situation. But that's what happened on Tuesday. Before we get into tonight's matches, let's talk about fantasy. Remind you guys to go over to fantasywgl.com or on Battleviewer, which you should be there. You can push that button in the bottom right-hand corner, and that'll bring up your fantasy team. You guys pick your 7 players. As they play, they accumulate points for you guys. Points lead to tons of prizes, such as in-game premium time, in-game gold, in-game premium tanks, like the Height 59 you can't get anywhere else. So go over there right now and do that. Finally, reminding you guys of Vulcan we have partnered up with. So go over to vulcan.com, use the code word World of Tanks for another WGLNA competition for even more prizes. What you guys are seeing right now on the bottom of your screen is David and I's 7 picks for the 4 matches tonight. Now, David, this is kind of like my last night. I'm going to try doing the whole spread evenly between both teams. Win or lose, I picked 7 players from 7 different teams. The only team I didn't pick was Googly Bobbers. But you, what about you? What did you do? Because I remember last time you put 4 members, or did you change it to 3?
Well, I changed it to 3.
Right, okay.
Because I fought with myself over that a lot the last game. I expected one of the 2 teams to tilt at this point because it's regular season, and that's more tilt territory than the finals in some ways.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
I didn't expect it to be. I didn't expect it to be that fast, though.
Gotcha.
Well, anyways, whatever. That was yesterday. That was last time.
It was Tuesday.
This is today. So this time, I have to point out that I did change out Blue Boy's captain. He's apparently having unstable internet issues.
Yes.
Put in Bird Thief, but Papa Dijon or Putin are also great picks. I wasn't entirely sure how much that was going to affect High Voltage. Who knows? Who knows which High Voltage will show up? If they played like they did last time, Ding will absolutely ruin them. Ding's a pretty good team so far.
Yeah.
So
That's
the one I'm most concerned about. But Draw Cab and Master Pupil from Eclipse, I expect them to take that, even though AM6 is doing quite well. But I did throw in a 3rd person with Mr. Man in that fight, so I've kind of hedged my bets both sides. And then Magenta Panda is the clear winner for Colorwana right now.
Yeah.
Aggressor does play well, but he has to call, so who knows? Especially playing against who they're playing against tonight. And then for Simp, Photo Finish, because he's always my go-to for Simp.
We kind of talked about it also, how he's just very consistent. Really not you. Never like super shiny.
People
but
like Photo are the only reason that my fantasy didn't get destroyed on Tuesday.
Really?
Because they just earned their points anyways.
Thank you, Photo Finish. Thank you so much for doing that. Well, that is enough about fantasy. Let's talk about tonight's matches. We've got 4 for you guys, all very exciting. Up first is going to be High Voltage versus DNA, followed by Googly Bobbers versus Rival. 3rd is going to be Aquatic M60s versus Eclipse. Finally, close out the night is Caller Wanted versus Simp. David, the 4 matches. Which one are you most excited to see, and who do you think is going to take it?
This is such a difficult.
There's some really exciting games tonight that I'm looking
to
forward
talk about. I'm mostly interested to see how well High Voltage can recover from what they did before, and whether Ding and A steadily improving can do perhaps the undoable. But I don't know. Noble beat them so badly last time.
So yeah, could go anywhere. I'm actually really excited to watch our final one, Caller Wanted versus Simp. Again, a lot of fun games tonight. But with that one, I mean, Caller Wanted and Simp both very high up in the standings.
Yeah.
They both have a lot to prove here. And if they want to keep going, striving, it's going to be they both really need this victory here to stay up on top in that 2nd, even potentially 1st place.
And Aquatic M60s versus Eclipse is also
great.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's so many great games tonight, guys. Just moral of the story, stay tuned, watch all these fantastic games, and that'll do it for our pregame show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. Our first match coming right up. closer and closer to the victory, but Mr. Man wants to bring it to a tiebreaker as he takes down another member. It is now a 5-on-5, but the HP is so in favor of Noble here as Akula takes down Felix. 34 seconds on the clock. The cap pressure no longer is a problem here for Noble. They now just need to set up. They've got Aquatic, looks like right where they want him. They're just going to whittle him down until the end of the game. Dodo finds Morphic there. Redux 782 in that E5. Milton is on the reload. He's a couple more seconds away, and there. Warbander getting extremely low right now. Sheep coming around the side, getting right into it, making sure and the enemy cannot go anywhere. Synergy 3K is the only full health member right now for 07, and the rest of them are falling. Vetro came to the do find Sheep and Ald, but Reaper takes on ZXFT. Vetro is one more shot away. 7 damage from a Ram. Mufasa gonna finish him up there with a shot. Commodore and Synergy are the remaining members. 1,300 health with Reaper finding Commodore. Synergy does find Jimbo. Is a 3-on-1, and this looks like it is Ping 999. On this map, who is going to come on top? Will it be Simple Tankers? Will it be DNA for their final 1,400 points of damage? They're going into Romstar in that M46 patent. Unknown one, though, getting lit up. Beautiful focus by Reaper. Romstar looks he might be able to stay alive if he can go down. Romstar taking down no one. There it is. Coffee Deep gonna finish him off there. But now Flack being surrounded. Scooper has to be careful, though. One more shot. He's going to get on Flack's shot. No, the Jan Toronto looks like he's about to get a shot onto Flack there, which will finish him off. And that IS-7 taking down the IS-7. See if that becomes a factor here, because right now what we see Sim doing is putting 3 members over on the Western Cap, dropping the cap down to 15 seconds here. We'll see if this is going to be enough. We saw Noble try this. That did not work out for him, I believe. They tried it against Simp, so it looks like Simp is trying to do the same thing.
Simp already has better containment overall. They've got players all the way down in the southwest. They're getting shots in this Kumi from the bat shots. Better tanks and better places overall.
3 seconds on the clock. Simple Tankers has to push. It's going to be Zakumi to take the shot that he needs. It's 0 seconds. Or he missed the shot. The clock goes down, and Simp. Shot goes through over Prime, taking him down. The second shot just missing. Photo finish takes down Marsh, and Milton might be going down himself. Crimson going for the Ram, looks for the shot, misses the shot. Milton gets out of there in time. Dryden still on top of the hill. He has a good shot. He can still do some work from that position. Dodo going head-to-head against Photo Finish. He should be able to take down the T-22. Meanwhile, Milton now is reloaded. Dryden has been set to take him out. The backjack goes down to the RE251, and Canadian Impact is in the reload. He should be going down himself. Dodo taking down Photo Finish, but Dryden and Crimson. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. If you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you and answer for us the question of the day.
Which is, what is your favorite scouting map? Now, this could be in WGLNA, in the regular game, to play or to watch. Open questions, so whatever you want.
Let us know right now in chat what it is for you. For me personally, I like them. I like watching Prokhorovka. It's one of those maps where we talk about how a lot of the teams just do naturally kind of go, they kind of stall out in the center, and the scouts are the ones who go out and really kind of make the plays happen. So for me, that's definitely my map of choice. David, what about you?
It's a hard map to scout, that one. And it used to be easier, but tanks are so accurate nowadays, especially a lot of those medium tanks. It's very difficult to do a lot of the trench runs you used to do, but I used to enjoy it quite a bit. It used to be one of my favorite maps to scout. Right now, I'd probably say Murovanka would be my favorite.
We haven't seen that a lot either.
Current pool that we have, but Cliff looks like a lot of fun too, because I just keep seeing these scouts get to shoot tons of people.
So let us
or even Himmelsdorf.
Let us know, guys, what your favorite scouting map is. Yeah, again, scouting is just super fun. As we're talking about, it's one of like the most versatile things to do in this game, and it's a blast to watch anytime players are doing it. So let us know what your favorite scouting map is. And let's take a look at the standings now as we're closing out our 6th week of the Season 2, well beyond the halfway point. Up in first place, it is Noble with a solid 18 points, followed closely by Simp, and then Caller Wanted there in third. High Voltage and Eclipse tied for 4th place. And then the 4-point gap between Rival, 07, Yo Aquatic, and the list goes on down from there. Now, David, as the season is going on, I mean, that gap that's in there, are most teams, have they played about the same amount of games there? Are there still some that are a huge detriment to others?
don't really know right off the top of my head exactly what the game differential is. I can check on that for next week, though.
Okay, great. Well, we will definitely get that checked up for you guys. But right now, up first, our first match of the night is going to be High Voltage versus WGLNA. On the side of High Voltage, we have Tofu Smurf. On the side of WGLNA, Master Putin. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off. Tofu Smurf, going to go ahead and start over with you. Now, you guys played against Noble on Tuesday, and the question for you is just, what do you think happened as a team? Just what happened?
Just a lot of, it was kind of a big mess from the start. Arclet didn't get into the training room in time because of the face-off, and you know, in general, we're adjusting to new calling. We used to be under Daki, who was pretty much the only voice, and now we, you know, are under Wally and Arclet, which everyone's adjusting to. It's a little bit different considering how long we've been under one style. It's a different style, so I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, by the same scope, we beat Noble in the regular season last season and still lost to them in the finals. And ultimately what we're working towards now is trying to adjust and basically prepare ourselves for a LAN type environment instead of winning, you know, a single match in the season. We're just focused on ourselves right now.
All right, well, best of luck as you guys trying to find the cohesion, kind of find your new, you know, maybe possibly the new High Voltage with the new callers, and I can't wait to see you guys come back to full form.
All right, Tofu, what's your favorite scouting map to either play or to watch?
I think the answer is the same for both, and it probably would be Proc, I think. But I don't know from a scouting standpoint if it's that big a thing. But I just remember even playing in the past, just I guess surfing the ridges of Proc is just a lot of fun to watch and do. And I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, he's saying what I was saying before.
Yeah,
it's
super
like,
fun to play.
It used to be, at least. I don't know. I haven't done it in a professional setting. So not recently.
Surfing the ridges of Proc. It should be like a song.
That's what it's called. Surfing.
It's probably
very
an album
similar
cover.
Yeah, it'd be a good album cover, exactly. Well, Toby, thank you so much. Master Putin, I'm going to go over to you, sir. I feel like it's been way too long since I've seen you, so it's good to see you again. Looks like you got a haircut. Looks fantastic, boss. My question to you guys is we are now over, you know, kind of halfway through that halfway point as the season. As a team, is the danger of relegation kind of setting in, or are you guys just really focused on just winning game at a time?
Yeah, we're just focused to win. We know that it's coming to an end of the season, so we are thinking about what's going to happen. But you know, we're just going to have to take it a game at a time and see what happens, how the other teams do.
All right. Well, two questions for you because we haven't seen you since we've been asking these.
Yeah.
Who is the scout on your team? Who would you consider that?
I usually play the bad shots, so anytime it's you know, tier 10s and 9s, it's probably me.
Yeah.
But when we have a tier 8, we use that as a scout, and a lot of people play that one.
All right. And what's your favorite scouting map?
I'm not a huge, or I don't consider myself a very good scout. So,
and I picked it for my favorite
I like
scout.
to drive around and shoot things.
Well, if you're scouting in a bad shot, that's,
that's a great
pretty
way
much
to
all
drive
there
around
is
and
to it.
shoot things. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Before we get into the battle, Tofu Smurf, is there anything you'd like to say to Master Putin before we get started?
Just have fun, and I haven't seen Putin in a while, so it's a good friend of mine. So always wish you guys the best.
All right, Putin, your response.
Yeah, good to see you, Tofu. Thank you. And wanted to do a shout out to, I don't know how to say his name, but it's I think it's Cyclone Beef. And he won the spot to go to Las Vegas for winning fantasy before Christmas. So good job and have fun in Las Vegas, man.
All right, guys. Best of luck to both of you. We'll see you very shortly.
Thank you.
Well, it's High Voltage. Nobody really to cover specifically there. Everybody's great. What you just saw there was Tofu. And we'll see who stands out tonight. Apparently, Blue Boys is in the match, but we don't know if his internet's ready. For WGLNA, Putin himself, man, you just saw. Papa Dijon, number of other people are all stand-up players there. I believe it is Scooper who came in and started calling for them. As you can see, it's Papa Dijon's their #1, and for High Voltage, it's Ox Thief.
Surprise.
High Voltage still favors Himmelsdorf.
Interesting.
To me, actually signals that they just play a lot of different maps.
Okay. And just
Not
like that's the one
necessarily-
they played twice.
Yeah, I think the only one we haven't really seen him play recently. No, we have seen him play Ghost Town, so I'm just wrong. They're playing everything. WGLNA, definitely Ruinberg. I would not expect to see that tonight at all because High Voltage is going to know that and they're going to ban it out.
Sure.
So that's probably the map that WGLNA prefers the most, because sometimes the map that they play the most isn't necessarily the one that they want to play. It's the ones that their opponents have wanted to play and they just don't care about it.
Okay.
But in this case, I firmly believe Ding wants to play Roomba
Yeah,
quite a lot.
we've seen how fantastic they are. Now, on the pre-show to the pre-show, so the pre-show with Tim Hamlet and Beatshead, they were talking about how, and Beatshead's prediction, at least for this match, was that it was going to be 5-1, maybe 5-2, High Voltage taking out WGLNA. But again, looking at what Ding has done through this season so far, progressing amazingly, playing at such a great level, and then seeing kind of what High Voltage has done and where they kind of come through on Noble. I mean, I honestly think it's going to be a lot closer than that. I could be completely wrong. Let us know right now, guys, what you think the score is going to be when all the dust is settled. Because right now, we are getting ready for our first match of the night, High Voltage versus WGLNA, starting on our minds. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For High Voltage, we have 250Bs, a Batchat, a 907, 2 T22s, and RU251. For WGLNA, a Mouse, a Batchat, 2 140s, 1 T22, a TVP, and an IS-3. IS-3 is a very interesting pick. I could see some brawling potential for it in the middle, but not necessarily against tier 10s.
What about the Mouse?
The Mouse, I mean, the Mouse can certainly brawl middle.
Sure.
It can also
get
penetrated by the Batchat fairly easily in the front, but it doesn't look like that's an issue. I was far more distracted by the double 50Bs, which is a big all-in play to get some sort of fight right off the bat here. And they are going hard 1-2, but it looks like WGLNA is setting up for that somewhat as well. This could be a very tricky fight for High Voltage, but they should win it. Lineup v lineup. We'll see if WGLNA can pull it out.
There it is. Blue is captain leading the charge there for High Voltage. Master Putin doing a great job spotting Oxley, taking a little bit of damage there, but not too much. And High Voltage now have successfully gone down to that J1 area. But David, where are they going to be safe, and where do they want to go right now as Master Putin is getting pelted from the side? 1,100 points of damage there. A couple more shots. He's going to try to get a safety. Blue is captain going to take a lot of return, and he's going to go down. Master Putin picking him up in that Batchat. A beautiful kill there coming out for WGLNA, and that is one tank down now for High Voltage. And these three tanks over in the southwestern corner are all kind of caught out here. Papa DeJean, Darth Vader does have to be careful, though, in that T22. And we have a couple of a little bit of a brawl happening here. What's the rest of High Voltage going to do? Do they just let these tanks fall?
This is probably, I mean, if you're in tilt territory immediately after the last game, this is definitely it. They're probably getting somewhat frustrated and a little bit confused here about how Blue went down and how Putin stayed alive too long. Both of those things just absolutely should not have happened. Meanwhile, Darth Vader is one shot away. Ant and Bird can work to take this out, and Bird can find the right shot, but it looks like he's still going for Papa DeJean. Must not be a great shot vector on the T22 as he is mostly sideways there. Now Ant should get a nice shot on him right there. Not afraid of that side shot, going to take it right in the front spoke. Great shot by Ant. Meanwhile, Ox and Tiger Thief lighting up Romstar, the IS-3 there in the middle. And this is quickly tilted back into High Voltage's hands as WGLNA only has 3 tanks left to High Voltage's 6.
Just like that, I mean, the turnaround, all like WGLNA was just such a beautiful position to take down High Voltage, and they're just focus the right people, take down the right tanks, and now we have Arclet going up against Flashland here at T22 against an Object 140. Both shots going out, nothing connecting for either of the teams. They're just going to kind of proxy spot each other here. Bird Thief and Ant Thief do have to be careful. They are one shot away. I mean, if Scoopra or Jan Toronto here in the Mouse, they can get one shot on Ant Thief, one shot on Bird Thief, and that would tie it up again. That's 2 tanks down already for High Voltage. So High Voltage does still have to be careful with their placement and where they kind of expose their tanks.
You're absolutely right there. Now, the big key to this for High Voltage has been those 50Bs. If they get them on the same target, they absolutely vaporize it. To me, it does signal quite a bit that they are going 1-2, or perhaps some sort of tricky 8-9 rush with 50Bs coming up the middle later.
Oh, Scoopra taking a couple shots there. 1,000, 1,100. Wallhacks is going to finish him off. That's another tank going down.
And Jan Toronto probably feeling pretty lonely here.
Oh, Jan.
He's going to get picked on from all sorts of angles. You can see him there coming in from both sides. Even the RU-251 Wallhacks is joining in this fight.
Everyone wants
right
the damage.
Mouse. It's not going to be too long here before he goes down. Oxley getting some nice shots into that front bumper, which you can see right there. One of the best places to penetrate a Mouse.
Right there?
Head on, right
all
there.
Right.
With heat shells, you can penetrate the turret face as well. Kind of. It's rounded, that turret face is. It's not like the E100 where it's just slanted. You sling heat in the turret face of the E100, you're penned all day. Not necessarily true with a Mouse, although still not as hard to penetrate as that.
All right, and as Wallhacks picks up Flashland, that is going to be the first victory of the night, going over to High Voltage here onto Mines. Now, David, like you said, the 50B is kind of broadcasting that you feel like High Voltage was going to go down the 1-2 line very aggressively. As a team, when you're loading in, right, the loading screen is going, you're reading off the enemy, and you see that, if you were to decide, okay, guys, they're going down the 1-2, is what you would have done what Ding did, which is send Master Putin over to that area, try to get some early spots, and just kind of punish him, or would you take your tanks somewhere else? So you're bringing them out, which is pretty slow.
So you're talking about what you're going to do in response to the 50Bs, right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
seeing that
I was
lineup.
A little bit distracted by the stats here.
No,
so let's actually get the stats
are great
on screen.
To be distracted.
So, Ox Thief, bringing it home, 3404, 12 shots, 12 hits, 9 penetrations. So obviously some of those were probably at the mouse there at the end, just slinging shots in because it didn't really matter because Ox is typically pretty good at with his accuracy here. Tiger Thief in the other 50B, it's a nice choice for him. Similar situation for him. Ant getting a lot of the shots there. Blue Boys, well, I mean, 2 shots before he died. Well, it is a bad shot. He probably should have got more. I thought he was in T22. I was like, considering how died he fast.
Oh, great job.
How fast he died, that's pretty good. But we have Arclit and Bird as well. Pretty much just a one-sided match with only Papa Dijon. Dang, dude, 2,600 again. That's just crazy.
Man.
Maybe that's the answer to that argument I was having before. Whether they go to Papa Dijon or like a Blue Boys or a Bird, because the second pick on High Voltage always fluctuates around so much. But for Ding, it's Papa Dijon.
Papa Dijon.
Big Daddy Mustard.
On top.
Always with a spicy performance. So yeah, with the 50Bs, you can't take the middle. Not really.
Okay.
Because the biggest weakness on the 50B is its turret, which is large, and
bulky.
while it does have reasonable depression, you can't really bring it to a place where that depression will matter because everybody will peek over and just shoot the very top of your tank and penetrate it pretty easily. So it doesn't go very well middle unless you just force all the way up and over. So perhaps they've worked out something along those lines, and that's kind of their ace in the hole. Otherwise, it's a 1-2 line where they just bring them on and hold while everybody else goes down the 1-2 line, kind of as a support fire.
Okay.
Which is an older strategy. It's been working, and it still checks out.
Bringing it back.
I was about to permit them to play another match.
We are ready to get into the next battle, which is WGLNA versus High Voltage. We're switching sides now. High Voltage on defense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Absolutely butchered that Star Wars reference. High Voltage for the Bat Chat, 142, T22s, a TVP, and E3, and an RU-251. WGLNA with 2 E5s, 2 140s, 2 TVPs, and RU-251 of their own. No T22s for Ding, which is, I'm not sure what to make of that.
Peculiar, because we talked about such an amazing tank there.
It's an amazing, absolutely incredible tank. Absolutely incredible. It's just, it's hard for it to lose head-to-head against in a lot of these situations.
A great tank.
Just those little bounces. Anytime you have something with trolley armor, it's worth its weight in gold in these matches because it's not reliable. Sometimes we've seen so many different times where somebody just drives away and gets a kill when they have 1 shot left, right?
Right.
That one troll bounce out of the shot you had could be the death of 2 of your teammates and thus the match. So it just seems like a guaranteed mainstay to me. But
gotta bring those T22s. Right now, David, we got Romstar here in the RU-251. Speaking of scouting, right? So he's just sitting here, if you guys can see on your screen, in the bush right down there by the western cap, just waiting. Now, this is what is called passive scouting, where you just go, sit in a bush, wait to see if you can see anyone. And what are like I mean, I feel like a big danger with that, right, is like, okay, I'm here. And the moment you're seen, you're kind of just done, right, if you have nowhere to run back to?
Yes, absolutely, because by the time you know you've been spotted, they've actually seen you for a little bit of time. We talked about the delay, right? So either somebody rehearses the angles, or oftentimes you actually start getting shot before your sixth sense pops up, and that's kind of your first indication.
Pretty frustrating.
A lot of times people just are willing to sacrifice that tank, and he'll try and get away if he can. Usually you can kind of tell what his path is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised to see him facing this wall. No, actually, Romstar's hull is not facing a place that would be good to drive immediately if he started getting shot. Maybe it's got a smaller shot profile in that direction. I'm not really sure. Either way, the biggest risk is actually blind fire, because these guys, they know how to do this. You poke a corner and you see when you get spotted.
Oh, he's here or here.
Right, and then you start deducing where it could be, and usually there's a big cluster of bushes, and you're like, oh, well, it's probably right there. You start sending shots in, but Scoopra getting lit up for a little bit, only 745 HP left. Ox is going to go ahead and take that opportunity to get another clip in, satisfied with what he's done so far. High Voltage on defense. All they need to do is stagnate this, and so far they've done it quite well. Ding does not have a lot of momentum, or in fact, no momentum. in any direction whatsoever, and they are bleeding HP. While High Voltage simply sits here and soaks.
Getting picked apart right now. Look at Flashland taking 285 there in that 140. We got Darth Vader taking some in his E5. Jan Toronto took some in his E5. And 10,825 as far as overall HP for DNA, 11,912 for High Voltage. David, this position that Bird Thief's in, haven't seen it. Well, now he's backing up. As a Bird Thief, you're supposed to stay there. I was going to show David something and ask him a question.
I saw it.
Is that just to get shots in the lighthouse? Because you've never seen a tank up there.
It can be to get elevation to fire down in there. It can be for spotting as well.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Variety of uses. I mean, you're getting elevation either way, right? That's
Sure.
the whole point.
Ooh,
Elevation provides you a number of different things. So it does all of those at the same time. But that in particular, he was probably looking for a shot vector into the 1-2 line. Not entirely sure if he has it. Last time I really messed around with that quite a bit was more in the 1390 days. Looks like he would have had some marginal shots. It would have been great, wouldn't have been bad. But doing what WGLNA is doing now, they would have got more shots. But either way, 714,
wow.
1073 going out on Flashland as he tries to cross this. Under fire, getting tracked by Ox Thief. Ox will take this opportunity to take him down. One more shot. And Ox is actually loading, so he will not pick that one up. But Flashland is going to have to limp away and stay out of this fight. He's going to take a big dose of pain, just like Papa Dijon, 778 out of Arclit. We're talking about people to pick. Arclit is getting to put in a lot of work on that E3 in this match. Would not be surprised to see him breaking a guaranteed probably 3,000 so far.
Fantastic job right now for High Voltage, just finding any place that WGLNA wants to go and shutting them down as they go there. Ox Thief now is almost reloaded in his bat chat. Once he is, that'll be interesting to kind of see where he goes. If he's going to kind of stay up here, he is. So he's just kind of bouncing back and forth. And again, guys, if you're wondering why when people's names turn yellow, that's when they take a lot of damage. That is when they have been spotted. When their names are yellow, the rest of the team, the enemy's team, can see their location and their position. Now those two 140s are just kind of, I feel like, cowering in the corner down there at K1. Really can't move anywhere. One shot from any of these tanks really will do it. Ox Thief, though, taking some damage as the TVP pushing on top of the hill. Master Putin taking 1,000. He does fight Ox Thief, though, before he probably will go down himself there. There it is, 1,800 points of damage. And Ant Thief is going to be the one to finish him off there in that T22. Bird Thief getting spot out, though, taking some damage from those two 140s down in the south. And now Romstar. A little bit of shots there on that 251. Back and forth, here we go. But WGLNA still so much lower as far as HP goes. Blue Boys captain taking a shot there as well from Scoopra, who is now on the reload. And it looks like WGLNA just really not super comfortable with anything they really want to try to do here. 2 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock. High Voltage just needs to hold out, and they will pick up a defensive victory here on to Mines. David, we have Wallhacks in that RE251 who's been scouting this entire time over at C9, just sitting there waiting for any sort of opportunity or looking for Ding really to go for a flank. As a scout, does there ever come a time where you've just been sitting somewhere for long enough and your team just goes, all right, let's just go? Or it's just like, no, just sit there and stay until we need you somewhere else?
Yep, there are definitely times when, more appropriately, if the scout is not the person calling the battle, it's usually where that happens.
Ah, okay.
Because a lot of times if somebody is calling, they will kind of work in their own scouting patterns into the calling decision. But either way, Wallhack's now getting a little bit of action here with Romstar in a head-to-head trying to fire back and forth in the RU-251s. Wallhack's position is a fairly well-known position. Romstar's position is safe-ish to a point. But from Wallhack's, he is safe. It's more if there's anybody else comes around that corner. He's guaranteed dead in that little pocket directly underneath the hill, which I consider kind of a suicide area in a lot of different situations.
Right now, Jan Toronto, though, up on top of the hill, getting lit up by High Voltage. 689, 986 there in that E5. One more shot. He'll be going down. Will Ant Thief be able to take it? It looks like he will. And there it goes. Him taking the T22 taking on another tank. And with just 5 members, now 4 remaining as Arclit digs down Papa Dijon. It looks like he's going to try to find the other 140 down in the south. Backing off here as he is on the reload, very wisely so. Scoopra, meanwhile, pushing on top of the hill. Darth Vader and the rest of WGLNA is just getting obliterated. Wallhacks taking down Scoopra. Bird Thief finds Darth Vader. Tiger Thief finds Romstar. And now it is just Flashland. Arclit coming around the corner, takes him down. And High Voltage with their second victory of the night with 6 members remaining at the end of the battle. And now that this is kind of going on, seeing that High Voltage... Again, it does make sense, right? They have something to prove, like Tofu Smith was saying. As a team, they're trying to figure themselves out, and this is the kind of time to come back after facing off. No, we'll be like, hey, we're back. This is what we want to do, and this is the kind of team we are. I'm showing great dominance here on Mines. Just a pretty standard thing. I mean, DNA just didn't seem like they really knew where to go.
They got shut down pretty hard. Took a lot of damage in a lot of different places. Yeah, a lot of that strategy to take the 1-2 involves pushing your tanks over and engaging whatever is in that K4-5 area where Arclet was in the E3.
Okay.
And you can't really break that when it's in E3, which I think is the entire point of the fight
Gotcha.
or the strategy. Let's go check out the numbers and see exactly how much Arclet did. Actually, only got 2,000.
Still a lot.
2,004 shots. Oh, right. Sorry. Because so all 4 shots were on the same 2 mediums, and 2 of them were like 100 HP kill shots.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
that's why
Makes
that
sense.
happens. But he did light up 2 people and pretty much shut down the entire option for Ding. So damage or not, still a great performance.
Played.
Blue Boy's thrown his hat in the ring, 22 shots overall, 25-59. Ox right behind him. And you see everybody here breaking 1,000. That was a spread damage and soak from High Voltage. And then Scooper leading the pack for WGLNA. Papa Dijon about 2,000.
All right, there. And now Master Putin, you kind of was saying, I don't think he played the Bat Chat last time. He played the TVP 5051, correct? Is that what he played up on top of the hill there?
I can check.
Yeah, because usually we see him in that Bat Chat all the time. It's so interesting to see him not in that tank. That's usually what
he's in the TVP.
Is that a reason? Is Mines not a great place for a Bat Chat?
It can and can't be.
Okay.
Probably the depression. So, Bat Chats don't have great depression.
Right.
And the TVP does.
Found that out yesterday.
Yes, you were playing that yesterday.
All right, guys.
Not an easy tank to play.
No, we are ready to go into our next battle, though. Let's see if High Voltage will continue these victories, or can DNA come back? Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got. Oh, no, we do have a disconnect, so we are not going to be going back into that battle. Do you want to bet Blue Boys? What do you think? Do you think it was Blue Boys, Captain? That's my guess. We'll see if it was or not. I know a lot of people did before the show when Tim and B-Ted kind of pointed that out. A lot of people on chat were like, "Oh gosh, gotta change him, gotta take him out, gotta change him." So the fact that he is playing shows that his internet was fine enough. But we do have a DC. We'll get that information to you who that was beforehand. But yeah, going back to the Bat Chat, I watching it played in here, I was like, "Oh man, this tank is a beast! Like this thing can just light people up. It's super mobile. It's fantastic." Then I started playing, and it's like, "Oh wait, why can't I go down and why can't I shoot up anymore?" It really doesn't have great gun depression.
Yeah, sometimes most of the time you have to put yourself in a very open position
Yeah.
to get those shots unless you're sitting back and sniping. And then even then, sometimes you start firing and you have to let the shots go in a very quick period of time because there's something else mean that's going to come kill you if you don't.
Okay.
You bounce a lot of them, and then the tank's not so great.
Yeah.
You got a long reload after
Like,
that.
I'm out.
Kind of
Like
wish it was
34
single
seconds,
shot.
something like that.
But then there's other times where you get to pull up behind an E100. It's not looking at you, and you just laugh and hold down M1.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty fantastic. Kind of speaking on the
Bittersweet.
lines of Batch Out, I mean, I guess I really can't tie this into scouting, which is the theme of the week, but clipping, right? When you have an autoloader and you take your shots and then you're starting on the reload, you were telling me how it's a good idea to just get out of there, right? You take your shots and you usually try to want to find a different place to relocate while you are reloading. Is that like all? Is it 9 out of 10 times that happen? Is it a 50-50 situation where you would just stay in the same place while reloading, or is that just usually not the best of your abilities?
So you don't always have to leave while you're reloading, but the way I see it is if it's safe for you to leave and you know the timing of where you can go and then come back when you're loaded, there's no harm in leaving. Because maybe an already blind fires, maybe something's happening you don't know about where their Bat Chat has driven across the map and nobody spotted him. If they know where you were last in the minimap, so you just might as well not be there.
That makes sense.
And generally, it's not a bad idea just to show up in a couple different places throughout the match and frustrate people. They can't keep track of you. And if they try, it's going to cost them big time.
Huh.
But that said, say if you're playing like Lakeville and there's a ton of tanks in the middle, you might as well just sit there and just keep clipping and
Right,
clipping
you're
and
just gonna
clipping.
get him and get him and get him.
Free damage is free damage.
Sure, and if you move, you might be kind of digging yourself your own grave. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to get back into the battle on Mines. Nothing's happened. It wasn't disqualification, so it's going to be the same sides. High Voltage is now back on offense. WGLNA on defense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For High Voltage, 250Bs again, a Bat Chat, a 907, 2 T22s, and RU251. For WGLNA, a 215 and I-72 Bat Chats, an Object 140, and 2 T54s. So, we're definitely going to find out exactly what High Voltage is going to do with these 50Bs.
Yep.
Because to put them on island again, either they're so confident in their ability to bully their way through that, or they've got something else right now.
Trying to maybe bait out Ding to think they're going to do that and send them somewhere else and tear up anyone who tries.
If they go middle, I'd be very intrigued to see how they handle this issue.
They are, yeah.
I suppose lineup v lineup, And the current lineup, it's not that bad.
Huh.
Especially with the bad shots going the way they are for WGLNA. If High Voltage goes hard up and over middle, this could very easily turn into a win for High Voltage as they will focus down the 2-1-5 probably first. Anybody who shows their face is going to get melted. As these bat shots rolling from behind WGLNA, this could get interesting real fast.
Interesting flank coming out here for Ding. Master Putin and Papa John coming around. Let's see where the damage goes. Blue Boys captain taking 973, trying to make his way up, but Papa and Master Putin going hard in the paint right now. 1300 onto Oxy, turn the turns around, 1689, 2000, one more shot, and that 50B is going down. Meanwhile, Flashland finds Tiger Thief. Blue Boys finally taking on Yon Toronto, but 2 tanks have fallen for High Voltage, just 1 for WGLNA. Blue Boys does find Scuba, but Flashland takes down Arclet in that T22, and now Anthief is on the run. Master Putin, though, is on reload. Flashland deciding to forget about him. They're going to leave that to the rest of the teammates. The T-54 driven by Ramsar is going to send to take care of him. Blue Boys captain on top of the hill is reloading as well. So after that fight, WGLNA coming out on top, major HP-wise, and a tank as well. Flashland now going up against Bird Thief, a 907 versus that 5B. Bird Thief getting out of there. He is dropping down, and man, what a flank for WGLNA. Papa Dijon, there it is, taking down Anthief finally, finding him in that T22. Now just wall hacks, Blue Boys captain, and Bird Thief remain. Papa John is pretty low. One more shot will take care of him, but Master Putin is going to find Blue Boys captain 2 fully loaded bat chats, but Putin does have an HP advantage. 883 though going into him, 773 going right back into Blue Boys captain, and one more shot is going to finish him off there. Master deciding to reload, not going to take that final shot. He's looking now just for Bird Thief. Well, they know where he's at, and wall hacks. I'm not sure they know where he is at. I don't think he was spotted yet.
They've got a good idea. Yeah, he's going to be in the southwest. They've taken most map control, other than the fact that now he's definitely spotted. But he was firing in the from that angle before, so pretty reasonably. Yes, Darth Vader might go down to wall hacks here.
He does. Nice pickup there for Wally.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why it's fun to be a scout. And it's bittersweet, right? He probably felt fairly helpless as a lot of that went on.
Yep.
Just trying to get in the damage he could. But there at the end, you know, your team's lost a game, but hey, I took out that IS-7.
And
maybe I'm going to go beast. Maybe I can get a nice shot on Papa Dijon, clean him up,
or Romstar,
and make it really uncomfortable. Who knows? Everything from here is just me being a pro.
That's so true.
Oh, he's got that shot on Papa D.
Oh no, but as he pops out, he does find Papa Dijon, but Master Putin is going to take him out before he goes down. So WGLNA is going to find their first victory of our first match tonight. That does seem like a fun situation, because you think about it. I mean, you take on tank, you take down Papa Dijon, and now and if you didn't get shot back, now you're full health going out, a half health RE251. You take him down. Now there's 2 tanks left, and everyone's like, uh-oh.
And depending on the team you're playing, that can make a bigger or smaller difference.
Okay.
Against some teams, they want to be perfect the whole way through, even in that end fight situation, which is an admirable goal.
Okay.
But sometimes it's taking things a little bit too seriously. And other teams are like, whatever, we already won. I don't care if people die.
Right.
That kind of thing, right? So if that happens against a team that takes it very seriously,
it's like
sometimes you'd be
it's
like, how do you let him kill
it's
you? There's 4 of you. Just move in the right positions. It depends.
Let's
check out the stats while we can to do it and see who's the overall points. Blue Boys. Blue Boys, why do you have to have internet connections the day I pick you that make me unpick you before you keep getting points? Oh, but hey, at least Bird got up there as well. Ox, obviously the first 50B to get picked off by those bad shots. He wasn't actually the easiest one that I saw positionally, but of course,
they went for him.
Of course, Papa D and Putin are going to take him down first. They know.
It's Ox Thief, go!
Speaking of them, 11 shots, 11 hits, 10 penetrations out of Putin. And for Papa D, a perfect 8 along with Flashland here and a perfect 6 in his FE 215B. There you have it. That's exactly why I was saying I don't really like taking 50B's middle.
On top of the hill.
I don't even think the bad shots needed to rotate all the way around.
Really? They could just
that actually made it more dangerous. Had those 50Bs just gone right up and over the middle,
right? That's
and just focused down somebody, it would have gotten bad real fast. Then they can keep their momentum, because once a 50B gets going downhill, thing gets moving fast.
That's a heavy tank.
In fact, they may have been able to come up and over, unload at least 1 tank, and then ram mediums for a lot.
Really?
A lot.
Well, that unfortunately did not happen for High Voltage.
There's no way they could see that, but sorry.
Sure, and WGLNA picked up their first victory. Let's get right into it and see if Ding can tie it up 2-2, or if High Voltage can find their final defensive victory on Mines. Let's see what we've got for our tanks.
High Voltage with a bat shot at 142, T22 is a TVP and E3 and RE251, Ding with a 215 and E5, 2 bat shots at 140 and 2 T54s. So while I love the 50Bs for the 1-2 strategy, that's the problem. One of our goals, I'm not going to talk so much about the past. Let's talk about my opinion on it instead. I firmly believe, always did, still do, that having lineups that can be moved around in a variety of different places is far better than having lineups that kind of broadcast at all what you're going to do. Sometimes you can use that knowledge to your advantage, right? They know what probably going to go 1-2 with the 50Bs, and then you do something else. But you have to kind of be betting that they're going to do a hard counter of a sort. Otherwise, the way I see it right now, until High Voltage demonstrates that they can play those 50Bs somewhere else, you're going to know they're going 1-2 with them. Sure. And they're fantastic for that. The hard 1-2 push with something sitting back, we used to do it with 5100s. It's amazing. It's a great way of taking over that control. But you can hard counter it when you see it coming. And perhaps High Voltage can build off that. Perhaps next time we see him play it, they'll have some sort of trick. But until then, probably broadcasting too much. At least that's my opinion on it right now, because they can't really go elsewhere. Maybe you could make up some middle push where they stay all the way back there in A4. I don't know.
Wow.
Obviously speculating quite a bit here. Arclick getting one shot into Scooper as WGLNA is going to try the classic 7-8. There's an RU-251 still sitting at K9 that can help shut this down. Arclick's going to hold the line while the rest of High Voltage rotates back to try and support him.
Let's see what goes down here as Master Putin taking another shot there from Arclit. 236 going into Scoopra. And this is the push. WGLNA is hopefully going to come out on top one for them to tie it up. 9:03 though going into that batch yet. And Master Putin going down is not a way that you want to tie up this game here. Arclit though taking 627. He might be going down, but they've already picked up a tank and a lot more damage going to Papa John. Meanwhile on the hill, High Voltage sending the rest of their members to try to shut down WGLNA up there and gain hill control. Arclit's still alive. He might be able to get a shot off. He does. He misses, and Jan Toronto takes down Arclit in that E3. Tiger Thief, though, taking down Flashland. And now Scuba knows where Wallhax is in that 251. He's going to go for him. Meanwhile, Jan Toronto taking some damage from the back. Bird Thief lighting up Papa Dejan there from, where's he at, the K4 position. Yeah. And Wallhax getting some damage to him as well.
He could win this. He could win this.
We'll see if he does. He's one more shot away, and he won it! He did! He picked it up. Scooper goes down in that 140, and that is another tank falling for WGLNA. Romstar does finally take down Wallhax, but Darth Vader is going down on top of the mountain. Blue Boys captain's the one to pick him up, and now it's just Jan Toronto and Romstar against 5 members of High Voltage. Blue Boys captain, Ant Thief, Tiger Thief, Bird Thief, and Ox Thief as Tiger takes down a T-54. Romstar taking shot from the side, 1,000, and finally that TVP T50-51 driven by Bird Thief is going to take him down. High Voltage increasing their victory 3-1 against WGLNA, finishing off mines there. Right in the beginning of that match, I was watching how High Voltage was going very hard over to the 1-2 line, and they're sending a lot of their tanks over there, leaving WGLNA just to have the hill. They just gave it to them completely, and that is something we don't see a lot because again, it's like, oh, we either take the hill or we punish them for the hill. Or is that third option, which is no, we let them get the hill, and we know that we're going to get control somewhere else and kind of punish them later on.
They brought the same lineup they did for the last defense, if I remember correctly, and they switched around where the people went, trying to stay mobile and unpredictable, like we were talking about before. So that maybe the 50Bs can work in that as well. But so the reason why they can surrender most of the middle like that is because they have Arclit in the E3 in the east, and Wally to back them up, so they can slow things down over there. The mediums can hold the 1-2 relatively by themselves, although Arclit can turn around and crossfire into that area.
Nice.
So a little bit. It depends. Certain areas. Other areas, not so much. So they know they can surrender the middle, and wherever Ding wants to go after that, unless they're doing some sort of grabbing of territory and putting on cap pressure, which is exceedingly difficult from those positions, that High Voltage will have the time to rotate back. It's just a tiered defense strategy.
Huh. Worked out well.
It's done.
Worked out fantastic for him.
Let's check out the stats very quickly.
All right. Take a look at it.
2659 for Bird Thief. Darth Vader with 1600. Wallhax with 2285, 11 shots, 10 hits, 10 penetrations.
Wow. Fantastic job for them. Now I'm excited because the next map we were going into between these two teams is going to be Steps. And I'm looking forward to seeing the same strategies that High Voltage, tried to do against Noble that didn't quite work out for him. I'm wondering if they're going to try those things again, and if they found a way to perfect him in the 2 days that we've had, kind of in between, or if they're going to just kind of throw those to the wind.
The mouse strategy has so much merit, and it's so good. if done right. And it was just done so poorly last time that I kind of hope to see it again. And I kind of hope to see it done right. Kind of.
All right, well, we'll see if they are, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, our next battle is about to get underway. High Voltage is up 3-1 against WGLNA. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
For High Voltage, we have a Bad Chat and Action X, a 142 T22s, an Object 268, RU251. WGLNA with 2 E5s, a Bad Chat, a 140, an STB, an M46 Patton, and a T54. So, the 268. The 268.
David,
I'm a fan of it as long as we don't spend 4 minutes pushing it.
Tell me about it.
That is my only commentary on it. Not to be too mean, but probably just mean enough, because that was really rough.
I mean, it was. It
Really
was
rough.
half of a battle to get a tank in a position where he did work. Granted, when the fight broke out, he was getting some sweet shots.
Sure.
So you take a couple minutes off that. Yeah.
Again, kind of, though, because once something... Oh, hold on. We got a hard fight coming up in the Northwest.
Oh,
potentially.
wow, WGLNA again. This is why I've always talked about. I love watching this team. They just go in these positions. Hey, we're on defense. Yeah, we're still going to be aggressive. Yeah, we're on offense. We're still going to be aggressive. And Jan Toronto, Papa John, followed by Flashland, Darth Vader, pushing against High Voltage here and having them now.
They're going to rotate away.
Well, yeah, go back, scaring them away from the north. They just don't want that fight. They're going to try to reposition and find something else to do. Which is now, if it go ahead.
So if High Voltage has done their homework, or perhaps Ding has done their homework here, this is where it gets into a messy metagame. If High Voltage has done their homework, they'll come back, stop in the south, then go northwest again, if that's where they originally wanted to go. Because WGLNA does this. They flex hard in the northwest, stop you from going there, then they flex into the east when you rotate away from them. Because everybody rotates away from that. Of course you will. It's
like
a terrible fight to have.
Hasn't done it.
However, the 268 didn't go all the way with them. Perhaps this is what High Voltage always wanted. They were just trying to guarantee that they could get Ding in the east by going west and then making sure they came back west.
That's super meta.
There's weird meta stuff going on here.
Super
Probably. Would be extremely tricky is if WGLNA rotated back west again, thinking that High Voltage would know and to do it. But it would be very, very risky. I think High Voltage knew exactly what they were doing here. Personally, they typically do a lot of research, I believe, based on what I've seen.
I mean, knocking over the tree last time to bait out the artillery shot, I would not put it past High Voltage to just really do their studying and find a way to manipulate a team to doing really what they want.
I'm glad we finally caught something like that on camera. I mean, that's something that pros have done for a long time. It's not trying to play down the significance and the excellence of that moment.
Sure.
But I just wanted to see it actually get caught and discussed for a long time. I'm glad you noticed it too. It just makes it so much better.
66 seconds, 30 now as Thief as well as Wk6 and Tiger Thief actually going to abandon the cap and just go for the fight against WGLNA right now. Jan Toronto pushing in, taking a couple of shots. Wallhack's taking a lot of damage, just barely missing one right over his hull. As Scoopra and Flashland taking some more. 871 going to that E5, but Romstar is going to take the Wallhacks, and that is the first tank falling for the side of High Voltage. HP relatively even here, and the battle over for the Eastern Cap has begun. Who will come out on top? Will it be WGLNA, or will it be High Voltage as Tiger Thief is getting extremely low, but Arclet is going to take down Master Putin. Finally, Romstar finishes off Tiger Thief in that 140, and Jan Toronto now is the one who will be going down for WGLNA. High Voltage just has one more shot, and Thief is ready, but Blue Boy's captain is going to take it, and that is going to be another T-54 falling. It is 5 tanks for High Voltage against 5 tanks for WGLNA. The HP is neck and neck here. Flashland finds Thief. Any pickup really counts as the battle continues. 4 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock. The cap, again, not even an issue right now for either of the teams. Both of them are off it. Well, High Voltage is off it. And Thief now kind of rearranging himself. He has 4 more shots left in that bad chat. Blue Boy's captain has to be careful. 1 shot goes into Flashland. That's a kill. And E5 going down. A 2nd shot goes into Scoopra. That's another kill. A double kill coming up for Thief. And he's just going to go on reload there. He's happy with those 2 shots that he just took. Blue Boy's captain, though, is going to be surrounded by Romstar. Romstar takes him down, but Arclet takes down Romstar in the M46 Patton for taking down his teammates. A nice battle buddy system there coming out for High Voltage. And now Bird Thief and Arclet have Darth Vader to deal with, as well as Papa Dejan. That chat driven by Thief is again re-rotating for reload. Darth Vader taking a lot of damage. 1,000 points in that E5.
Ox's position is so great, taking the exact angle that he can safely fire on Darth Vader as soon as he gets loaded. But he sends one over. Looks like he hits Bird Thief as Bird crosses. Failure of communication there. Ox trying to get a couple more shots. Picks up the kill on Darth Vader, leaving Papa Dijon alone with Arclit, getting 706, and Bird Thief coming back to clean it up and take that match 4-1 for High Voltage.
Beautifully done right there. Man. Like that slight miscommunication in the end, and that always, I mean, that's got to panic you as a team, because when things get that close, that shot could have flipped the game. If it was a 2-on-2, there's a 1-on-2 right there, and you shoot a teammate, terrifying.
Fortunately, in that case,
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Totally.
But yes, I mean, simple things like it's situational awareness. You always have to keep track of that. We'll talk about this probably a lot next week with mini-map awareness and that kind of thing.
Cool.
And you have to say crossing is when you do it, because from his point of view, from Oxmath's point of view, he may see your nameplate, but he's so zoomed in that there's a good chance he doesn't see you at all till you cross.
Absolutely.
So it is what it is.
Hey, but a nice pickup there, and a nice turnaround too.
Let's check out the stats.
Let's go right into it.
Blue boys, I love you and hate you all at the same time.
Hey guys, his internet's fine.
For this. I'm glad your internet's working, and my fantasy team is dying. 3,000 almost for him, almost 3,000 for Bird. Arclit with some incredibly clutch movements and shots, and just a great strategy that looks to me, it smells to me, feels to me like High Voltage did exactly what they wanted to do in that match, and it worked exactly the way they expected it to. Darth Vader and Romstar both with 2,000 for WGLNA. Notice the pattern there, 3 kills, 2,100 damage.
Yeah, so and every time they bring that tank, it seems to really shine for him. So still proving itself.
Like we've talked about before, you kind of have to ignore the tier 9s, but you can't. And it's got such great depression. You can poke around one of those hills and light you up, no problem. In fact, if they had 2 of them, that might have been a different fight, because the 54 there was probably a drawback. I don't like the 54 in the eastern side at all, honestly.
Okay. Why is that?
If I'm gonna take a tank that's that flat like that, it's gonna be a T22 or a 907 or a 62A, some one of the tier 10 versions with more armor.
If you could bring a T22, bring a T22.
At tier 9, the T54 is fine in that area because it's got great armor for the tier. But when you get into tier 10, maybe
this
not
is
as
tier
much.
10, baby.
Either way, still, I'm just not a big fan of it. I'd rather have the depression like Naction X did.
All right, well, one more battle away, and High Voltage will take it, and B-Ted's prediction will come true. Let's see if they can do it, or will WGLNA come back? Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got. 4 tanks.
For High Voltage, 2 E5s, a bad chat, 2 T22s, 2 T54s. For WGLNA and IS4, a bad chat, 2 140s, an STB, a T22, and an AMX 1390. Should clarify, on the map of Steps itself, the 54 is great. I meant very specifically in the exact engagement they had. I don't really like it as much.
And now when and we kind of talked about, you brushed up on this, but just for my kind of own clarification, is High Voltage is going very aggressive here over the north. No one spotted him out yet. This could be terrible for WGLNA. If they come over the top of this hill, they see all these members of High Voltage, all 7 of them? Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, and some of these positions they're grabbing are absolutely incredible. And Thief's position could be a big deal. Looks like actually he's just kind of holding over to guarantee the people are safe as long as they drive here. Because High Voltage is blind here as well. If Romstar does this well, he'll be safe. He will be safe.
Pop up.
But if he does it wrong...
was that wrong? Was that right? Only takes a shot. That looks like that was right. And now they know where, man, at least 5, 6...
They could still get him. I don't know why they're not popping up. Blue Boys is a great shot. The rest of them have great shots. They're safe in this area. That's a massively blown opportunity. Somebody should at least check to see if it was safe. Romstar could very easily be dead right now.
Oh, wow. All right, so a missed opportunity there for High Voltage, taking down a 1390. That would have gotten a scout out of the game, but luckily for him, he's just going to walk away, taking a little bit of damage there. And now WGLNA, knowing what High Voltage has done, are starting to re-rotate. But it looks like High Voltage is going to do the same thing. They're only leaving, I don't know, so they're not going to leave anyone. They're pulling everyone back out to the east. Now, looks like we got the same thing as last time. We have High Voltage doing exactly what WGLNA just did to them, and now we're going to see potentially the exact same rotations.
I wonder if WGLNA is going to go middle, though. Because so it used to be kind of an older meta. You go to the northwest, if you got challenged, you back down. You sent at least 1 tank east to kind of show yourself there and shoot anything that pops up on the ridge, and you take several tanks up the middle, and you actually accomplish the same thing as if you went over the northwest.
Okay.
You just get there underneath a little bit faster, and you can take a line directly up against kind of where the E5s are. It's a tricky thing to do. I would have to break out the maxi map to draw it. And it doesn't look like we're necessarily going to have the right amount of time. Maybe in another match we can discuss that. When it's a little bit more prudent, I'd probably have a different lineup if I were going for something like that. So it's a little bit irrelevant at this point. Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Ding, doing something similar in this instance. So they put Romstar in that middle bush. They're at F6 to spot and guarantee that them pushing back up the west side is safe. Like we talked about, if you see a team rotate away or you know that they do it, you can just pull back and then go back to where you were to begin with.
Exactly
WGLNA knows it, and this is how they rotate around on steps. So of course they know how to get underneath it, and WGLNA will take the northwest for whatever that's worth, which in my opinion I've made exceedingly clear is not a whole lot.
Yeah. Well,
at least not if you're trying to cap.
Now, as WGLNA, the STB1, right? If you're potentially wanting to get in a fight, and how the best way to put this? When I'm watching these guys play, generally where you want to go is where you send most of your tanks, and also your important tanks generally, right? The bigger ones, the higher up ones, the tier 10 ones can fire more. The STB1, that's one of those tanks, correct, for Ding? Like where you want to go, hey, bring that tank. Would that be generally correct?
Yeah.
Well, and the only reason I'm saying this is when Ding started to re-rotate, they brought the SB1 over to the east as well, and he got lit up. And I'm thinking, wow, what if he did that so that High Voltage goes, okay, they're definitely coming over to the east now to make them even more confident.
So you're kind of on a line of thought that I can agree with to a certain extent.
Cool.
So
That's
in a
great.
similar vein, and I
enough.
think it's kind of what you mean. If you see where the STB is, you may make inferences to that.
Yes.
You do not typically leave an STB by itself. And you can.
Right.
It's not a bad tank for that kind of thing. But in a head-to-head with, say, T22, I'd actually have to check for the T22 being kind of a newer tank. I do not believe... I think the T22 can win DPM for DPM. But either way, basically the STB is going to be pretty good on hills in somewhat of a hold-down situation because it can bounce. But you wouldn't want to leave it on its own because it would very easily go down to 2 tanks.
Gotcha. So maybe WGLNA using that as possible bait for High Voltage as they put a couple members there. Just actually the 1390 is on cap. It's at 64 seconds now for Ding. 3 minutes and 20 seconds overall, and we have High Voltage rotating. They're sending that bat chat. Driven by Oxthief around, taking a shot, being spotted out by Master Putin. It is a bat chat battle. 761 there, going into Oxthief. He's got to be careful. Master Putin now on reload. Scooper on the SB1 popping up. He is being lit up now, so he's backing down again. There's kind of blind shots that we see even last season going out on the Northern Cap from High Voltage to try to find where Romstar's at, try to get that reset. Bird Thief taking a shot there. 3:32. 38 seconds go on the clock. Scooper looks like he's moving up to maybe join Romstar on the cap. No, he's just kind of sitting in the bush there. High Voltage sending Blue Boys captain
this
around.
is the danger zone for High Voltage right now. You're going to want to stop that run. There you go.
Wise.
Much better that time around.
Man, but so much
it's
damage.
It's going to cost them a lot in hit points just for even testing it, but that was a very strange and questionable decision.
Blue Boys taking another shot there, and Romstar did get lit up, so the reset for High Voltage has gone through. I don't know if it's because they got the spot with those tanks that they're pushing up over with or not, but Romstar is down very low in HP. The cap pressure is no longer a problem for High Voltage, and now WGLNA has 2 minutes and 10 seconds to do anything, or this match is over.
Ding has a monstrous HP lead. Look at that, 2,000. Well, Flashland taking a lot of hit points. That starts dropping down quite a bit here. The IS-4, good hit points, not necessarily one of the better heavies overall in my opinion. Probably Rod. Well, doesn't necessarily matter. Bird Thief gonna go head-to-head here with Flashland and Darth Vader.
5:16 there going to that E5. He has to be careful there. Joined by Arclet, who's still focused on the cap, which is now down at 18 seconds. Ding applying that pressure with that HP lead. They are confident that they can take High Voltage down head-to-head if they do come for him. Blue Boys captain is going on. He has now lit up all members on the cap. Who's going to get the reset? Tiger Thieves is going to take down Romstar, and that is going to drop the clock back up to 73 seconds there. Going back for Blue Boys captain, still staying alive a long time, but Papa John takes down Blue Boys, and Flashland finds Bird Thief. The HP gap, though, has gotten a lot shorter as High Voltage finds Scoopra in the STB1, and now Darth Vader is going to take down Arclet, joined by Flashland. They're looking for Oxthief. High Voltage now just has to stay alive for just over 60 seconds, and they will find their 5th victory. But Master Putin coming from behind. He's not even going to reload that, but he's confident enough that he will be by the time he needs to take a shot. 930 just dodges one and gets behind a rock in safety. He's reloaded. Let's see what he can do in that batch at 285. They're going into Tiger. 48 seconds on the clock. High Voltage now is just in full retreat. Papa John taking down Tiger Thief. Ox Thief now is running as well. He is reloaded, so he can try to take down anyone who comes, but one more shot, and he will go down himself. Just 193. The chase continues. Master Putin going across. They know they can't take the gap. They gotta find the tanks. Jan Toronto takes out Wall-Hacks. It's just Anthief and Ox Thief alive for High Voltage. Master Putin takes out Anthief. It is just Ox Thief, and DNA has done it. They have taken down all members of High Voltage, and they're gonna survive just enough longer to possibly come back now, finding their 2nd victory here in our 1st match of the night. What an amazing chase that was right at the end. And they decided to put that cap victory on, or put the cap pressure on. Like you said, they had a 2,000 HP advantage. They knew that High Voltage, if they were to come face-to-face, they might be able to take it, and they did. They found him. They forced him to a position where they could find, had the better guns, had the more HP, and took it right to him.
You are exactly right. Let's go ahead and look at the statistics here.
That chase was fun. That chase was fun.
I continue to kick myself for decisions. Could have been Papa Dijon over Blue Boys. I mean, either way, look at that. Look at that. Papa D, 33-56.
Beautifully done.
Flashing with 30-36. Darth Vader even getting into 2,000. Putin with 2,000. Really, it's just Scooper and Romstar that didn't get a whole lot of action there. Scooper, I didn't get to see specifically what went down with him too much there. And then for High Voltage, just not getting into the action with good engagements a number of times. A lot of times they would poke someplace and get absolutely torn up just for checking. I was criticizing that northern push a little bit because they had a weird engagement in the south with Putin and Ox, both in bat shots.
Yes, yeah.
They just kind of made quick contact and then left. And I have no understanding, and I cannot really conceive of a situation in where that then turns into pushing the northern side. Because if there's a bat shot down there, and your bat shot's down there, and both kind of engaged and disengaged, they're very likely the only tanks there. I mean, that is typical behavior. Where your bat shot is usually where you are not.
Okay.
Unless you are coming with everything.
Okay.
Which they weren't, clearly.
Right.
Because Ox would have seen it.
Right.
So then everyone else is in the northwest setting up to cap,
So
especially because the cap
why
pressure's
push?
on. So why push in that direction? Something must be going on with High Voltage's decisions to do that on steps that I don't fully understand. Maybe it's for good reasons, but it's the 2nd match in a row where I've seen them push into the northern part when it's pretty guaranteed not the right place to go. Either it's misinformation coming from somebody, something's going on there.
Well, let's see if
Something.
DNA can take advantage of this, or will High Voltage find their final victory and end out the night. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
We've got High Voltage with a bat shot and Action X of 140, 2 T-22s, an Object 268, and an RU-51. Ding and A with an IS-4 and E5, a bat shot of 140, an STP 46 patent, and a T-54.
That's something I learned in acting class. It's called added suspension, where you just kind of make them wait. You just wait on every word. Oh, what's gonna happen?
Oh, I thought that's what Jeep owners did before they went out rock climbing on weekends.
Added suspension is also you can use it in a lot of ways, David. Dig and A going for a push here over in the A8 area, brings Scooper up on top. A9 and then SB1. They're not going to do what High Voltage done, knock over a tree, because there is no artillery to threaten them out. Scooper making it up on top, a successful push for them.
Man, Putin has been playing fast and loose this set. I mean, last time he came in he came in so hot in that last engagement. He wasn't even loaded yet. He's like, boys, I'm here.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Whoa, dude.
He was just a threat.
There's not even an engagement. You're
just
going to die here. But it's consistently doing it, yet consistently getting his damage in, and consistently staying alive far longer than I would have expected.
If that works.
So, I don't know. I mean, he could just look at me and say, haters going to hate. I mean, it's kind of working for him.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, and what he's done right now is just kind of stalled High Voltage out for a northern push. It looks like they're not too afraid to go back. They just kind of take their time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the scouting information there is absolutely valuable.
Yeah.
Just the depths he went to get it.
See that, and again, this is why Tuesday I said Master Putin is my favorite scout, because when he scouts, it's fun.
Well, he himself said he's not a particularly great scout. I'm going to have to agree that last route was borderline suicidal, but it worked.
Yeah.
And now he probably knows that High Voltage is just going to pump the brakes because a lot of the times, anytime... okay. Putin just got shot by Darth Vader. Another situation where you got to say you're crossing, boys.
Maybe a little too hammered.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's going to cost him. So every time the WGLNA goes northwest, they're doing it with almost everything they have, if not everything they have. So there's a good bet that Putin was thinking, well, they'll see me.
And freak out.
But they're not going to immediately chase after me and get the kill, because why would they?
They think we're all here.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. This is why I always used to say it when I was playing, and I still believe it. I thoroughly enjoy playing against good teams, the best teams, as opposed to teams that don't necessarily know what they're doing, because that can work.
Gotcha.
What Putin just did.
Gotcha.
A good team.
You have said this because you're like, when you go against teams who wouldn't know, they would just keep going.
Yes.
And
then
then
you're
you
like,
would die.
dude, you should buy that hook,
Hey,
line, and sinker.
you were
Why
supposed
are
to
you chasing
stop.
me? That's an
Yeah.
awful thing to do. In this
it worked.
instance, this specific example, I'd have to go back and look at it specifically. I think it was actually fairly clear for High Voltage to chase after him, and it probably would have been worth the hit points. This was definitely more of a deal at Tier 8 than it is at Tier 10, because Tier 10, you can absorb the damage to get that pick, because the gun is what matters the most.
Gotcha.
DPM per HP is everything. Snowballs are huge at Tier 10. Flashland is moving up here through the C line to get into kind of a common position we've been seeing here. Noble certainly loves it. Right here in this pocket. You got a nice rock to protect you. They can poke up and see the cap. In fact, such little of their tank shows that they can most of the time get those shots without taking too much damage. The only real risk is down there where Romstar is, firing in from the other side. But as long as you have a teammate spotting that, it's easy life.
This is going to be
easy
fun.
life. Easy resets.
Hashtag all day, every day.
I guess that's backwards. Easy resets, easy life.
Oh,
That's what we go with.
Yeah. Either way, makes sense.
High Voltage rotating away, leaving a couple of their people a little bit exposed. But like we said before, there's no reason why WGLNA would push blindly into that kind of thing. So it's going to work for High Voltage at least until more of their tanks get spotted. I'm not entirely sure about how Arclet's going to get into this fight.
Ooh.
Oh, nice shot by
Tiger
Ant
Thief.
squeaking in 355 on Flashland?
No, these are going from Tiger Thief and Woltage down in the south.
Okay, he did take a shot. Nice shots. That must have been a combination shot of Wallhacks and Tiger to take him down that quickly. But here we go. Flashland starting to go down from another position. And Flashland does have the ability to get away from that. Uses that rock.
No!
He's either under too much fire to get away or didn't see it, didn't know the exact angle. And he goes down. And that starts to turn the tables here on WGLNA. But 3 minutes and roughly 15 seconds left means this is still winnable, even though, well, there's only about a 400 HP differential.
Right, HP-wise not bad.
And it's only one gun down. Now, it's an important one, but WGLNA is running 2 Tier 9s, which can make up for it. If they get a guy's pick on Wally, things are almost even. If they get a pick anywhere, things are even.
Actually, I never thought about that. Bringing the 2 Tier 9s to the Tier 8 and the rest 10s. The idea that if you do lose a Tier 10, those 2 Tier 9s aren't. They can still do. It's better than having a Tier 8 alive at that time.
Absolutely, because they can get in there in the brawl.
Right.
They have more HP to share. Sometimes they can bounce. Their guns almost always are significantly better. I mean, I've said before, the difference between 9 and 10 is pretty big. The difference between 8 and 9 is monstrous.
Huge, right?
Absolutely huge. So, well, now the team is back here with Arclet, so I can now see where Arclet's going to get into the fight here, which before I wasn't entirely sure how that was going to work out. If they're going to create an engagement there in the south, must have had to have some sort of cap pressure lined up and ready to go. Not entirely sure, but bleeding a lot of time here as time management on steps, perhaps not High Voltage's strong suit. However, Arclet there getting 756 in a Darth Vader. That starts opening up some options as he is the only E5 for WGLNA.
65 seconds on the clock. High Voltage applying that pressure. WGLNA just taking those free kind of blind shots. They don't need to risk a guy getting up there and getting lit up yet. But now as Tiger Thief joins, 26 seconds. That time is going to be coming up very shortly here.
One more going on right after that, probably, as soon
Toronto
as it gets
ready.
close enough. Jan Toronto getting absolutely lit up trying to cross to get that spot. Somebody should have brought up a little bit more binoculars or something to get this.
Well, Jan Toronto might be sacrificing himself. Let's see if he can find the spot before he does. He does. He lights up Tiger Thief and wall hacks. And now here comes the damage. Bird Thief joining, but it's too late here as the rest of the members of WGLNA have found successfully those resets that they're going to continue to right now. Bird Thief taking another shot. Tiger Thief taking some as well. But wall hacks actually in the R251. He has all the points. They have to get to him. They're keeping him alive. Bird Thief finding Master Putin. Master Putin finding one as well. 10 seconds on the clock. A minute overall. WGLNA has to do something quick. If they can't get a shot in wall hacks, High Voltage will pick up their 5th victory and end out the first match of the night. It's down to 2. It's down to 1 second. They've done it. High Voltage has successfully found the cap and picking up kills, lighting up WGLNA right at the end. Their 5th and final victory will close out our first match of the night right there. I mean, really bringing it down to the wire, finding something to do, but I mean, a great job by High Voltage to not be afraid of the time after interesting brawls in the north and back in the south and back in the north again to figure out what to do and to successfully execute it. In that situation with WGLNA, binoculars, you said, is that just
something to get the vision? I'm just seeing so many teams sacrifice tanks to get the vision.
Just sending them up over.
It's confusing to me. There must be some reason why it doesn't work. Because there's no way.
Why you wouldn't?
Maybe something involving the view ranges and the camo coefficients, but I can't even imagine what that could possibly be.
Huh, all right. Anything in stats before we go to bed?
Sure, let's check them out.
Check it out.
Getting real tired of trying to pick on High Voltage who's going to do the damage, because they're just passing it around. Hot Potato with the top scores here. Anthief 34-12, Arclet 24-83, Blue Boys with 17-65. And for WGLNA, no surprise here, Papa Dijon 25-76, followed by Romstar with 11-64. Not a high damage game for WGLNA.
No.
They just need to find any sort of engagement. They weren't doing too badly, though, overall.
Yeah, not at all. Fantastic play from both these teams, but congratulations to High Voltage for picking up that victory. Ladies and gentlemen, our first match is done. Our second match, Googly Bobbers versus Rival, is coming right up.